Singleton. So as a long-term leftist, I can't believe the next sentence I'm going to say. I would like to thank the Heritage Foundation for making this important panel discussion happen. I am a women's liberation activist. I worked for almost 20 years as a home birth midwife in my community. I work now as a family nurse practitioner, serving mostly women and children. My entire life work is fighting for the class of people who are oppressed on the basis of their biological sex. These people are aborted in the womb when vulvas show up on the ultrasound, smothered to death in infancy because they don't have penises, to the point where we now have towns in India where there are 160 male children to every 100 female children, like this global femicide happening. They are sold to old men as rape and breeding slaves, and it gets called child marriage. They have their external genitalia cut off. So they will no longer enjoy sex and to control them sexually. They go to jail for suspicious miscarriage. They are forced to birth rapist babies. They suffer court-ordered cesareans. They are criminalized, sometimes even for things like extended breastfeeding. There are women who've had their children taken away for that. And as someone who fights for those people, I'm very upset that the gender identity movement has stolen from me a comprehensive name for that group of people that I fight for. Because now I'm being told it is transphobic to call those people women and girls. Because now what we're seeing is this legal erasure of the material reality of sex, and this redefinition of sex as what set of, in my opinion, odious sex role stereotypes you identify with. I would like to see sex role stereotypes abolished, not codified into law as the very definition of male and female. And I'm really getting frustrated and tired that the things that I just said are forbidden discourse on the left, and that women like myself who speak out about this, of the legal erasure of women and girls, and the complete eradication of any material meaning of female. We are called bigots. We get death threats, rape threats. My own nurse practitioner practice was targeted. I suffered from a boycotting campaign, a letter writing campaign to my licensing board saying that my license should be taken away for the hate crime of refusing to honor the preferred pronouns of a serial child rapist. This is the kind of insanity we're dealing with. And like Miriam, I'd also like to share a quote. Mine is from the French Revolution. It's from Voltaire. "Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities." And this is the railroading of complete insanity. Like, everyone knows, like, we are a species, we're sexually dimorphic. For some reason, I have friends on the left who will go on and on telling me, like, sex is it's just a social construct, it doesn't really exist. But for some reason, like, if they want to have backyard eggs, they know to just get hens. Like, it makes no sense. And this whole idea of, the only reason your parents knew to raise you with this set of gender rules is because the doctor assigned you a sex at birth. Like, for one thing, as a midwife, I just want to say, like, home birth midwives, we don't announce the sex. Like, that's something that parents, we believe people are smart and they can figure it out. And having had both of my kids at home, like, there was no doctor there to assign sex to my children. And I had to apologize to my kids that we've just been winging it the whole time. Just assumed one was male and one was female. But no doctor came and assigned them, So who knows if we got it right? And then at the same time, like, these same people can somehow figure out what sex their dog is. Like, it makes no sense. The cognitive dissonance is just mind-blowing to me. So I feel, I really believe, like, if we lose this fight as women, we have lost everything. And some examples of that are, last year or the year before, there was a Supreme Court ruling of it is not sex discrimination to fire someone for breastfeeding because men can breastfeed now.
Chest feed.
Yeah, but which now it's considered transphobic to say breastfeeding. We're supposed to say chest feeding because it's upsetting to the women who were so, they hate being women so much, they want to be known as men, and then have the nerve to come into our most sacred spaces of midwifery and breastfeeding and say, you have to do everything I say because I'm a man now, which is like, it's the same game. Like, I'm just like, this is the same story that's been going on. So that, it's no longer sex discrimination to fire someone for breastfeeding. If we redefine sex as gender identity, it's essentially legal to fire someone for menstruating. Because they're like, how can you say that's not? There's not a specific law that says you can't do that, but we have laws that prevent sex-based discrimination. So if we lose this, we have lost everything in terms of our legal protections. And that is why I am, as a board member of the Women's Liberation Front last year, supported our decision to sue the federal government to stop the reinterpretation of Title IX to mean gender identity instead of biological sex.